talk a bit about your role as the video uploader and how that became a part of this whole movement.
I mean, I personally started filming immediately, as many of us did, and I think many filmmakers felt that, found a role during a revolution. I think transferable skills become very important, and when storytelling is one of is what you do, and everything that you're experiencing is being falsified in the media, then you begin to find a role for yourself within that. And it just so happened that there was this space that I had access to, and came up with the idea of setting up a place which ended up being called Musurreen, which would end up being dedicated to supporting people who wanted to film or wanted to do any pro-revolutionary activity, wanted to meet, and so on. And over time, because a lot of our friends were imprisoned or tortured or otherwise, there became this necessity to produce videos. And over time, we built this very, very basic infrastructure with, tables and internet and a few cameras. And then we set up a YouTube channel, and we had an archive that had built out of what had been collected in the square. And the Musurreen became a place suddenly where a lot of people congregated. Mm. And then suddenly, what had started as a small group of people suddenly became, over the weeks following, up to 70 to 90 people shooting, editing, uploading. And within a few months, Musurreen became the most watched non-profit YouTube channel in the world for a period of time.
Wow.
And ever in Egypt.
So a lot of the footage that you collected became part of the footage that the filmmakers were working with? Talk about...
I'm in some, yes, I'm in some.
Talk about the materials that you were working with and where they came from for the film.
Well, yeah, I think there was as Khalid said, we had an amazing access to Khalid as a character because Cressida was one of the cinematographers on the film and took us into places where probably he didn't want us to always be sometimes, but it was. But the majority of the film you do see in the film is shot by our team, which we have.
How many of you?
We had 4 main cameras, so it was...
what kind of cameras?
The 5Ds. As Jahan was shooting, Hamdi Muhammad, who's the director who couldn't be here today, Hamdi Muhammad, the DP, who actually taught our team how to use them because most people, Jahan hadn't shot on the DSLRs before, and her main camera was confiscated when she arrived in Cairo, actually. So she had this as a backup because people were saying, you can use these because people think they're photography cameras, so you can get away with more. And then Cressida and then Ahmed, actually, the character, learns how to shoot halfway through the making of the film, and he took us to some of the most beautiful shots, and the front lines of the battle is actually Ahmed's camera. And
well, let's talk about the editing, because you must have had an enormous amount of material. How much footage did you have, and when did you think the movie was ever going to end?
Well, we had approximately 1,600 hours of material. Basically, think over a period of 2.5 years, 5 cameras running constantly in the square, and plus outside of the square. So there was, actually, there's a huge. If you look at it, there's a huge editorial team on this film because there was just an incredible amount of footage.